Hello guys, this is Modish Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Spartan Bowl gameplay. You guys probably know, and if you don't know, I love Spartan Bowl. I think it's hysterical. The score in the background, 67-1. It's a pretty nice score, but once again, I can't really boast too much about this because it is just playing absolute mongoloids. And pulling off a pretty high score, but it's a lot of fun. It's tremendous amounts of fun. And this is just kind of what Halo 4 is about for me. Like, it really just makes me happy playing games like this, because just getting off a crazy spawn trap, Halo 4 makes winning very satisfying, and obviously that's what they were aiming for when they were pulling out the game. They were trying to give it this Call of Duty buzz, where like when you're winning, you feel like you're on top of the world, and it can make bad players feel like they're heroes in the worst of situations. And at times that can be really fun in Halo 4, but obviously it has its drawbacks in the site of competitive play, which is why I want to talk about something briefly today. I want to talk about the idea of you know, pub stompers being criticized. I've made videos about this in the past, but I kind of want to look at it from a different angle, because I had a conversation with one of my friends, and he made me look at it from a different perspective. So, you know, you get a lot of players out there, players like Dagger, posting ridiculous scores like 114 for 1. I try and go for as good scores as possible, and I'd say a large portion of the community go for more high-scoring, insane gameplays rather than really close-matched competitive gameplays. And I'm not saying they're not out there. Obviously, you get people like Genesis Rider posting the more high-scoring the more close, tense gameplays, and players like BBK Dragoon doing similar things. But at the end of the day, when players blame people for the pub stomping nature of Halo 4, and they blame it like people for uploading those videos where they are literally playing mongoloids, such as this gameplay, where we've got them in a spawn, and it's not really too difficult. I've got a fairly decent team to help me out. Octavius is carrying the ball to stop someone on our team from scoring, and we're basically just bashing into them. You know, it's pretty easy. But the reason that I don't think that the YouTubers uploading loads of pub stomping games should be criticized is because in any community it's good to have these different sections of the community in terms of how they present their gameplay, how they upload their videos, and it gives variety to the community. Unfortunately, the way in which Halo 4 was designed made pub stomping gameplay all the more satisfying. It made casual gameplay all the more satisfying, and the ranks weren't really tailored to in the way that a Halo game would deserve and would necessitate. And as a result, I think a lot of players gain their majority of fun from going ham on kids. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, in Halo Reach, you got a fair deal of people, you know, like Campy, Dutchy, and Halo 3 even can be the same. Like, that's just a different side to the gameplay. And I think the reason people get annoyed at all these pub stomping gameplays being uploaded is that they're missing out on competitive play, and they're not really getting much of it in the Halo 4 community. But I don't think the blame lies on the YouTubers. I think the blame lies on the developers to some extent for not carrying through the competitive community. You know, they didn't necessarily get the competitive experience they wanted. There's no leagues, and there's not too much to strive for in terms of, you know, going for this close gameplay. You know, if you're going to improve yourself at Halo 4, there's no tournaments that you're building up to. You don't watch these MLG players anymore and see them and go, oh, I want to aspire to be them. And yes, there's Halo 5 to look forward to in the future, but A, we don't know how different Halo 5 is going to be to a game like Halo 4. They could be drastically different. I think there's a very good chance they will be drastically different, as you know, a lot of players have looked at Halo 4 and said they want more of the Halo 2 experience. They're not really happy with how different this game is to previous Halo games, especially in the way that they're bringing in Call of Duty-esque mechanics. So I wouldn't be surprised if Halo 4 played completely different to Halo 5. So as a result, like, you know, a lot of players grinding, they don't really want to grind on Halo 4 for Halo 5. They don't think it makes that much sense. And, you know, you just don't get... There just isn't that much of a spark in the competitive community, in my opinion. I'm in a lucky position to where I can play competitive customs with quite a lot of people because I'm quite ingrained in the Halo community as a result of playing Halo. So I have those tools at my disposal, I suppose. But a lot of people don't, and a lot of people don't get into that side of things. And, you know, it's a shame. And I just think, you know, the majority of people want to either play or watch pub stomping gameplay at this point. I think it's more exciting because there's not much incentive to encourage other people to play competitively at this point in time. Not that I don't think it's impressive, and not that I don't think it can be done. I think Throwdown is a really good competitive experience and really enjoyable, and is a good, like, a true test of skill to a large extent. But honestly, for the average player, I don't think there's too much incentive right now. I don't know, maybe you guys disagree with me, but that's just the way that I see it. Another thing I want to talk about today is Halo 2 Anniversary, because I haven't really touched on this in my channel. I was kind of avoiding the idea of making a video, because I actually made a video about Halo 2 Anniversary in the past, saying that I really did think that it was going to happen, but then it ended up not happening when I thought it would. I thought they'd announce it quite early, and then they delay Halo 5. And it does seem like that is going to happen now. It just happened later than I thought it would, but it's still not necessarily confirmed. I'm not sure why so many people jumped on this rumor in the most, like, in quite an aggressive way. They were just like, yeah, well, I'm going to put this on my news channel. I've seen so many channels uploading, you know, stuff about that Halo 2 Anniversary rumor, and certain videos I've seen almost seem to state that it's true, like that it's happening, and I'm just like, it's not happening for sure. I mean, it probably is. Don't get me wrong, you know, all the signs seem to point to the fact that it is, but you never know if you're going to get burnt on this sort of thing, and the developers just turn around and go, that actually kind of was a leak, and we are releasing Halo 5 this year. But at the end of the day, I just want to talk about, like, what I think the repercussions and the positives and negatives of a Halo 2 Anniversary being released would mean. And overall, I think it's a very good thing. I know some people are going to get a little bit upset and a little bit depressed that Halo 5 is being delayed. I've seen a couple of comments on YouTube videos saying, what? I was so looking forward to Halo 5. I don't want to have to wait another year. But at the end of the day, this is probably going to be a good thing if you're eagerly anticipating Halo 5, because it's going to mean they have more time to work on the game. One of Halo 4's biggest problems is that it felt a little bit on the rush side, and that means hopefully they'll have more time to design maps and to design the gameplay and to make the gameplay feel more fleshed out. You know, one of the biggest problems with Halo 4 is that you went into these different game modes like Spartan Ops and campaign, and they all felt like they had a little portion missing. You know, Spartan Ops wasn't quite as good as its counterpart in Firefight. There wasn't very much depth there, and it felt like just playing through random campaign missions. Then you had multiplayer, which obviously didn't have a ranking system. It had a very small amount of team deathmatch style maps, arena style sized maps, and some of the big team maps weren't necessarily up to par in my opinion. And then the campaign was a little bit on the short side, and also had a large amount of quick time events, which in my opinion detracted from the overall gameplay experience, as sometimes it felt like you were being handheld and there wasn't this openness. Like if you go back to Halo Combat Evolved, a map like Assault on the Control Room, a level like that, it was almost like open world at times. You'd go into an area and it would be vastly expanded before you. And the same could be said about Halo ODST, Halo 3, when you go to Mombasa, New Mombasa, I think. I'm trying to quote campaign missions on the fly, so that might not be a good idea, but you guys probably know what I mean. So overall, I think it's a very good thing that they've got more time to work on the game, and also it might be really good for the community, because if 343 can pull off a really good Halo 2 remake, I know they probably won't be designing it, but I think it would be a show of good faith and a nice gesture for the community. It's like, hey, you know, maybe we didn't do too great in appeasing you guys with Halo 4. Here's Halo 2 Anniversary to remember the good times, and hopefully, you know, to show that we have respect for the game mechanics of Halo 2, and we're hopefully going to be using them, some of them in Halo 5, and taking the best game mechanics from each game. Something like that. But overall, I think it's a good thing, and I would personally be very excited for Halo 2. I think Halo 2 had some of the best multiplayer maps. I thought it had a really entertaining campaign. I thought the ending was a bit weird, but overall, it probably had like the best set pieces and action of any Halo campaign game, so that's pretty cool. I really hope they do it justice in the way of having enough multiplayer maps. You know, Halo Anniversary for Combat Evolved felt a little bit sparse, to be honest. You know, they had barely any multiplayer maps whatsoever, and that was a little bit depressing, to be honest, because Halo Anniversary was amazing. It was really good fun, in my opinion, and I didn't mind that they did it on the Reach engine whatsoever, but the bottom line is you will get bored eventually if you have to play 4 maps continuously again and again and again. Like, you need a little bit more than that. And Halo 2 has such a good selection of maps that it would be a massive shame if they didn't do justice and bring in all the best ones. What I'd also be worried about is they, like, brought back remakes that they've done too many times, like Midship, Ascension. They've done them millions of times. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I have been Modest Major. Thank you for watching. Peace.